And sure enough, just as you might have predicted, by keeping Clay alive in the following season of the show, Clay causes even more problems for Jax. Oh, I didn't see that coming. See, in a situation like this is writing 101, guys. If a character does something that the audience thinks is obviously stupid, you need a character within the show to be the voice of reason, to be the voice of the audience, and ask the character why they're doing something that's stupid. Then you can have the character explain themselves to the audience, like better explain their point of view and why they're doing what they're doing. Then you may be able to get a pass. So getting back to Arrow, so anyway, of course, that doesn't happen in Sons of Anarchy, and it doesn't happen here. And in Arrow's case, you have Felicity going to Oliver and being like, "Hey, not only is that a great idea to go fight Ra's al Ghul, but you gotta defeat him, bitch. He don't have to do shit. He just needs to fucking beat the shit out of Merlin and fucking explain the situation to Ra's al Ghul. That's all. That's all the guy has to do. I mean, why do the characters think that freaking Ra's al Ghul is so unreasonable? Like, they can't just explain the situation to him. Like, here's what happened. They know so little about the guy. Why do they assume he's just so unfucking reasonable? So, yeah, just the thing with the Clay and everything. That's what we call, in shows like this, we call it plot armor, which is to say that they can't get harmed or get killed or anything because they have to be around. They can't die because the plot demands it. So that's called plot armor. The only other example that I can think of, and the other major example, is 24, the Jack Bauer character. How he's been around for what's it, 9 seasons? Because we had 8 seasons. The show was supposed to end, and it came back for another season a couple years back. But the idea being that, like all the other, like if you watch that show, Jack Bauer, the Kiefer Sutherland character, gets all these different allies and shit throughout the seasons and stuff, and most of them all die, except the Chloe Sullivan character, not Chloe Sullivan, holy shit, wrong show, the Chloe O'Brien character. It's just like them two. They're the only constants, right? Everyone else, all the other like hero characters, quote unquote hero characters, die. Like it's like obvious that they're just keeping Kiefer Sutherland around, as though it's like, oh well, this is Jack Bauer's story or something. Even though the producers have said otherwise, they only keep him around because it serves a story, and if it served a story to kill him, then they would kill him. I'm not buying it, guys. This is obviously a vehicle for Kiefer Sutherland. So anyway, yeah. So that's plot armor, and that's obviously what we have here. And it's just stupid because it's like it just to me it just shows that these writers don't really have anything for John Barrowman to do really, other than to be reduced to a plot device to get Ra's al Ghul and Green Arrow into a feud. Like it shows that these guys they used up all their good ideas in the first 2 seasons. I go back to that. I mean, this is just very pedestrian bullshit. I mean, why waste a guy like John Barrowman on the schlock bullshit? Just he's just a means to get to another villain character to feud with Green Arrow. Like I don't know, come up with something better, guys. So getting back to this writing 101 shit. Okay, so Ra's al Ghul threatens if Oliver doesn't deliver the killer to the League in 48 hours, he will destroy Starling City. Start this cleansing of Starling City, right? He'll initiate this cleansing. Now, getting back to the whole Merlin thing, didn't you guys, like, just a few episodes ago, didn't you guys explain that the whole reason why, hell, even back in season 2, the reason why the League was upset with Merlin was because the whole undertaking in just destroying a part of Starling City was against League law? But now that Ra's al Ghul wants to destroy the entire city, that's okay. What? I hate being like, huh, what? But what the fuck, guys? What? And fine, okay. Let's just assume that he's a hypocrite, right? That Ra's al Ghul's an obvious hypocrite here. Okay, just like I said earlier, when a character does something stupid like that, you need a character within the show to be the voice of reason and the voice of the audience and ask, okay, Ra's al Ghul, why is it okay for you to destroy the city, but not for Merlin? But again, we don't get that. No one on screen acknowledges that Ra's al Ghul is behaving like a hypocrite. It's just like, oh, okay. It comes off as though they forgot the whole thing about Merlin. And maybe they were doing this thing where Ra's al Ghul hates Merlin so much, though we're not quite ever explained as to why necessarily, but I mean, I understand that he broke League law and shit, but maybe it's that Ra's al Ghul is projecting his anger about Oliver protecting Merlin onto Oliver because Oliver is quote-unquote protecting him, and so therefore he gets really angry and makes this really harsh threat towards Oliver. Was that what they were going for? Because that's the only way I could think of that would make sense. But again, you need someone to explain that. It needs to be explained. And another thing too, if Merlin was the guy you were initially like going after, you're really upset with, right? I mean, that's what Sarah was originally charged with doing, was to investigate Merlin and find Merlin and, and bring League justice to him. So, like, I mean, wouldn't, like, why aren't you still looking for Merlin? Why are you, like, putting all your resources on, like, Oliver Queen and making sure he finds the killer of Sarah? Like, why aren't you, like, using some of the League resources to go out and find fucking Merlin still? Because he's the guy who started all this. He's the guy that Oliver is protecting, so why aren't you going after the guy himself? Like, why is there such an overemphasis on making sure Oliver is held accountable for his actions, but then, oh, we totally forgot about Merlin, the guy who originally started this whole shit? And if this wasn't already a huge clusterfuck disaster mess of a mountain of a pile of shit. Remember in episode 4 when I was talking about the events of that episode, and like at the very end of the episode, Ra's al Ghul says, quote, Sarah was never truly one of us. Remember I said, remember that line? Okay, so that would imply that Ra's al Ghul does not give a shit about Sarah. So why the fuck does Ra's al Ghul care so fucking much about who Sarah's killer is, and Oliver needs to find the killer? They really need to find this killer for this person that Ra's al Ghul doesn't give a shit about. Like, I don't understand. Why'd you guys put that line in there? It's like as though they were intentionally trying to make this fucking episode and the whole plot of that Merlin had and everything surrounding it, it make it as little sense as fucking possible. It's just another fucking ridiculous thing. It's just another thing that contradicts everything else that's going on. Makes no fucking sense. Makes it even more convoluted. And makes it all the more unbelievable. What were they thinking? Why did they put that line there? Sarah wasn't truly one of us. Why did they imply that Ra's al Ghul doesn't give a shit about Sarah? Why would you do that? I don't. Why? And two, why did they have it so Ra's al Ghul was going to destroy the entire city? Because we need yet another destroy the city plot? Like we haven't seen that in the first couple seasons? Season 1 I was fine with it. That was their first outing. Season 2, yeah, it was kind of the same thing, but it was different enough I was willing to give them a pass. They do it again this season. It's just, come on, guys. You really couldn't come up with something different to do? Hell, the Flash finale was different. Like, it wasn't a big destroy the city plot. Like, I don't know. Anywho, so I don't know. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to that episode 1 review I talked about many moons ago, many videos ago, back when I talked about episode 4. It's very similar situation here. It's a another convoluted scene. Or it's just a big clusterfuck of logic of shit that doesn't even make sense. And I think it does a good job illustrating how these things are just like fucking baffling and stupid, and how the fuck did they make it like on screen in the first place. So yeah, so I'll leave a link to that. So I don't know. I don't know what the. This is just a fucking mess. So yeah, so Ra's al Ghul wants to destroy Starling City, even though he's mad at Merlin for destroying just a part of Starling City. But then also Ra's al Ghul doesn't give a shit about Sarah, but he's also at the same time very insistent that they find Sarah's killer. I, I, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Merlin needed the blackmail Oliver to fight Ra's al Ghul. I don't know why Oliver doesn't just fight Merlin, take down Merlin, and then explain to Ra's al Ghul what happened. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why Oliver doesn't interrogate or torture Merlin and then try to get a confession out of him. I don't know. It blows my mind that this episode actually got positive reviews, and then they say that the show didn't start going downhill until the second half of the season. What show were you watching? This makes no fucking sense. So, before I got sidetracked, I was gonna mention, why doesn't Oliver go to his allies to stop Merlin? Stop Merlin when he's revealed that he was the killer and all that. Then Oliver tried to stop Merlin himself, and if he was unsuccessful, why didn't he go to his allies for help? Or, hey, let's go with the fucking bullshit logic that Oliver would actually go ahead and fucking do what Merlin told him to do, which is total bullshit anyway. But why wouldn't he go to, I don't know, the Flash? But, oh wait, I forgot. In this episode, we're supposed to forget that the Flash exists, even though he's in the last episode. Or why didn't he go to Argus for help? Oh, that's right. We need to forget that Argus exists, even though they were in the last episode. We have to turn our brains off. For purposes of this episode, those things don't exist. Because, excuse me, wouldn't the Flash whip Ra's al Ghul's ass? Right? He has super speed. And I said this a billion times. Flash, for all intents and purposes, is a fucking god. He has super speed. He can kill Ra's al Ghul really easily.